Welcome to Last Match Standing, the podcast where we review, relive, and rank the 100 greatest wrestling matches of all time. As always, I'm Spencer.
I'm Paul.
I'm Landon.
I'm Hope.
I'm Dustin.
And we are in season 2.5. That's what we're going to call it. Thank you. Thank you, Dustin. Very good.
He misses the guitar solo.
Oh, man.
Welcome to our Q&A session. Our first one.
Find out how ADD we all really are.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, guess what? Everyone can see you right now.
That's right.
Assuming the video doesn't explode.
Which
Hopefully not.
could happen.
If it does, we'll just do it live.
But thanks, everyone, for tuning in, whether you're listening to the feed on our main pod or you're watching this on www.youtube.com/lastmatchstanding. I don't know what our YouTube link is.
Probably something like that.
Something like that. You have to get on the World Wide Web. That's all I knew. But we want to say thanks so much for anyone that sent in questions. Make sure as we join season 3 here pretty soon that you guys reach out to us if you have any matches you want to see in season 3, but also join our Patreon because we have some really, really awesome stuff, including WrestleMania 10 is about to drop for Last Mania Standing, where we rank every WrestleMania in history. So there's plenty of really, really fun stuff coming there. But that's all the housekeeping. Hope, I think the floor is yours.
Yes. Some questions.
Yeah, thanks to everyone for actually jumping on Twitter and all the emails we got and even some questions through Patreon. Thank you for submitting these questions. Hope, our normal trivia master, will be dishing out the questions. And we wanted to...
I did a wrestling reference.
Dustin, look at you go! Oh,
Return
man.
of the dish
in
punches.
the episode.
We wanted to make sure to include Hope and Dustin because this is our team. I know you don't always see these two, but they are...
You don't see any of us.
100... Well, that's very
It is a
true.
podcast. That's true.
Very
Second
true.
time you've seen us.
You don't always hear these two.
Well, you watched Landon get a pie in the face.
You did watch that.
You did not have to bring that up.
I
Still
still
got a
taste
pie
it.
in the face too.
It was apple. I liked it. Yeah,
I
it was pretty
almost
good.
felt bad.
But they're very, very much a part of the show, and we could not do this without them. So thank you for joining us. And these questions are probably directed at us, but if something comes up in your head, we'll look to you. You definitely jump in at any of these.
Thank you for
I
welcoming
mean, you're on
me.
mic for a reason, so I want to hear your voice.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Very nice. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? Then Now Whatever podcast. They follow us on Twitter. They're awesome. And they have shouted out a question to us. Or to you, really. What's the first match you can remember watching?
Ooh. Okay, so I'm actually it's very clear in my head for me because it was WrestleMania 20.
The first match you ever watched was WrestleMania 20?
Was the opener for WrestleMania 20.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Oh,
which
man.
was what, 2003,
2003,
2004?
2004, yeah.
2004. It was 2004. Okay. So what's the opener for that night? Do you remember?
The opener for WrestleMania 20 is John Cena versus The Big Show for the United States Championship.
It is. And John Cena uses the chain to pick up a victory. He lifts the Big Show. It's the whole thing.
Well, was it the chain or was it the Nux?
It was a chain.
It was the chain.
Was this before
yeah.
he was cursed with invisibility?
Yes, this is before that.
I'm not clear on
Right.
the timeline.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't cursed till the next year when he came out to You Can't See Me for the first time.
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay,
Poor guy.
the first match I ever watched, I remember this vividly. Okay, I don't remember the exact date. It's in April. SmackDown. It's on a SmackDown. Comes on. Triple H is cutting a 20-minute promo. Taz comes out. This is right after he went back to ECW, took the belt off Mike Awesome, and then came back to WWF. So he comes out. He's like, I'm Taz. And then he jobs in like 8 minutes. That's the first match I've ever seen. Love you,
okay.
Taz.
First match I ever watched, I remember this. I remember like seeing it on TV vividly. I was literally channel flipping. I was like 8 or 9, and I was in my mom's apartment, second floor, in her room on her TV, just channel flipping while she was in the shower. I remember this vividly.
Details, right.
And it was just like, what the hell is this? I've never seen anything like this. And it was WCW Nitro. And
background.
I have no idea what the match actually was, but I know for sure it would there was an Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and Rey Mysterio were somehow involved. So it was like a tag team or...
Sounds like a amazing first.
I
match.
can't
Yeah,
see how you got
really.
hooked. I don't.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't-
It was
Just three of the greatest wrestlers.
it was
right.
awesome. And then the next thing I saw was Scott Steiner come out, and he had
A tiger.
oh my god. No, it was Scott Steiner came out and he had like the chainmail and a trash can. And his thing at the time was like the trash can, the aluminum trash can. I'll never forget that. That is the first bit of wrestling I ever saw.
I feel like you should never ask Scott Steiner why he did anything in his career because
Or how long it took.
I don't think he.
Is that the percentage guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't think he knows why he did half the shit he did.
Hope, what's the first wrestling match you saw?
I don't remember. I would have to guess that it was with you, and I'm guessing it was probably some random WrestleMania. But I honestly don't remember at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it was probably some kind of WrestleMania. I know because we started watching wrestling. I started watching wrestling with her just to try and get her into it. And she started watching SmackDown while I was watching Raw. And she told me about Drew McIntyre when he debuted. And I remember I had no idea who he was, but Hope knew everything.
Oh man, that's like
I don't
that's 11
remember
years ago.
that.
Yeah,
But I
remember.
do remember Alberto Del Rio
Oh, the promos.
because he cut like 20 million promos every single week before he finally showed up in the ring. And
He
they were all the same promos, so I don't know why they wouldn't showed up.
Yeah, and then he was wildly mediocre.
I was just about to say they were all worth it. All those promos were worth it,
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
they?
His
Dustin?
destiny.
Okay, so I know I used to watch wrestling with my dad when I was like school age, maybe like kindergarten. But the first match I ever really remember watching is, I don't know the WrestleMania numbers, but it was 2016. Do you know what that is? What number was
So
that?
that's 4 years ago. So that's 32.
It
in
was
Dallas.
Seth Rollins and Randy Orton. And
31.
It was
That's
probably
31.
the first match that ever made an impression on me. And I remember, I think Seth Rollins, I don't, maybe he was going for a finisher. I don't know.
Yeah, he
his finisher,
was.
But he went in the air, and it looked like Randy Orton was down, and he surprised RKO'd him. And I remember like, I got goosebumps. It probably is not a big deal match, but like in my head,
No,
that
it
was the
was.
first
That was
match.
huge. That moment was
That
huge.
was, that's like my second favorite RKO of all time.
Yeah.
The first
Behind-
one is still Evan Bourne doing a 450 and
so
just
good.
being caught the very last second. Like, how?
Oh, and the first
awesome.
wrestler that I ever like looked at and was like, I really like this guy. He's really cool. I'll probably get like a lot of judgment for, but it was Baron Corbin. It was it was.
Hope? How do you
yeah,
feel
we're
about
still
that?
gonna judge you on
This
that.
is like 2016 though. Like he
This
was
is-
going
this
against
is before
America,
he shaved
American
his head.
Alpha,
Oh, yeah.
and he
NXT.
did the end of days to both of them, and I was like, oh, like I popped off so
Oh
hard.
no, the end of days is an amazing move. I will
Yeah.
never judge
yeah,
you for
it's
that.
good.
Hey, then now whatever. Thanks so much. That
Yeah,
was really
appreciate
great.
that,
That's a
guys.
good question. That's a real good question. I liked it.
And you can find them on Twitter at TNW Podcast.
Find him. Great show.
Next, Twitter, Adam at ABGriff91 just wants to know, what is y'all's favorite match ever? Just,
So the whole reason we're doing the show is to figure that out.
Right.
But I think my favorite match ever, whenever we went into this, episode 1, I told you guys,
Yeah.
you're never
Yeah.
gonna break me. Bret Hart versus Steve Austin. I mean, you can't take anything away from that.
Paul?
In Your House, Mind Games, Mankind, Shawn Michaels, WWE title.
Ooh,
So good.
we haven't done that yet.
No, we probably will at some point.
I understand that this is a match that people are going to say, like, this is a stupid choice, only because I think people think it's a little bit overrated because, and when a match is talked about so much, inevitably it disappoints in some way. But I refuse to say anything other than Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. I refuse to say anything other than
I
that,
mean,
and I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings.
No, we're going to get to that match at some point, and I have a lot to say about it.
I would just like to note, though, that out of all three of our matches that were our favorites, we've only done Landon's.
Yep. I mean,
So what does that
episode
tell you?
1, Episode 1, we covered mine.
True.
Hope, do you have a favorite?
I don't think I do. Part of it is I just don't have the memory for every match like y'all do. So I can't. My memory for matches is all very, very recent. So I'm just going to be like
What was
the
your-
last episode of AEW Dynamite.
What was your favorite episode from Double or Nothing? I mean, what was your favorite match from Double or Nothing?
There's one answer to this question. by the way.
Okay.
Is it Lucha Bros and
No, it is Stadium Stampede. Next question.
The best part is it's Stadium Stampede, and Landon will tell you I slept through the vast majority of that, and I'm still saying it's Stadium Stampede.
How
I
She
rolled
fell
over.
asleep and woke
I fell
back up.
asleep. I rolled over so that I could see Adam's new horse, which I love paints, so yes. And then I saw Adam drinking. And
Oh
then
no, Jake! When Jake walks down, I knew I'd find you here. And he just pours him a drink. They just take a sip. We're gonna drink or fight.
And then I think I saw the final bump, and I think that's all. And I still say that
The bump to end all bumps.
the bump to end all bumps. Yeah,
Dustin?
no.
I don't really know. It would probably be something like super common, like what is it? Mankind, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, or like Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon, King of the Ring. But I will say, I don't know if this counts, but like, I guess I could call it my favorite match just because of the promo going into it. Can I say it? This is probably off topic. Shawn Michaels and Triple H. I've never listened to an intro so many times. It gave me goosebumps so many times.
It's amazing.
Are you saying that
matches-
that Shawn Michaels Triple H at SummerSlam 2002 is the greatest match of all time? Is that what you're saying?
Don't we have somebody who doesn't like hearing that? I'm trying to remember.
No, Spencer keeps like so at the season finale of season 1 and season 2, we vote for what we consider the greatest match of all time, the last match standing, based on the listener poll and what we feel. And each time Spencer has voted for that match.
I have no regrets at this moment. No, I don't.
I voted for it in season 1.
Yeah,
but
see?
nobody
So-
else.
Yeah.
BK is dead.
Oh,
Okay.
so good.
I'm possessed.
Next
Hey,
question.
thanks for the question. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Ben at Bonzo E92 would like to know what is your favorite non-WWE pay-per-view and/or show, to which I will always say AEW.
I'll just say Double or Nothing. This past year, that's my favorite. That's the most fun I've had watching wrestling in the last.
What
5
was the
years.
first big AEW pay-per-view?
Double or Nothing?
I said, was that
The
it?
original W.
Yeah.
The original Double or Nothing.
I'm
was
talking
the
about
first
specifically-
AEW
Oh, so that was a
event.
year ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean
that was
specifically
Lucha
the
Bros
most
and Young
recent.
Bucks, right?
Yes. and
Yeah.
That's I remember.
They did a Canadian destroyer off of a ladder and didn't die.
Yeah.
But this
What
most recent
gods?
one, like honestly, just the Stadium Stampede match alone, that is short list of okay, that match is amazing. If you don't like it, I don't really care. It's awesome. Also,
And
the
this is what
Boneyard
it's like being
match.
friends with Paul. If you don't think this is the greatest match ever, then fuck you.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's the greatest match of all time. I loved it bell to bell. I just part of me is like, can you imagine if they had a crowd?
Okay, so Ben, thanks for the question. But favorite non-WWE pay-per-view or show?
and/or show.
I'm going to say my favorite non-WWE show is a drama from the 2000 era, The West Wing. It's just, it's a political drama, but
Later,
also
I know
a
what you have to
comedy.
say now.
It's just, it's just one of the best ever. It's one of the best written shows of all time.
And here's a sneak preview of our
and it is-
spin-off
it is
podcast,
explicitly-
Last Series Standing.
It is explicitly not WWE. So I just
Okay, that's
look,
fair.
Aaron Sorkin's
Buffy the
writing is
Vampire
very
Slayer.
good.
very good.
That's fair. Okay. So because you did that, that's it. So mine is actually every single year I look forward to Wrestle Kingdom more than any WWE show. So I think I would probably prefer Wrestle Kingdom over anything that any other company puts together.
I mean, this past year we got the retirement of Liger. That
Ugh.
was
Incredible.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Hey,
cried.
Ben, thanks for the question. That was awesome.
Appreciate that.
You're going with Buffy?
Buffy the Vampire
Hey,
Slayer.
there it is.
There it is. Ben would also like to know what is a bad match that you enjoy?
Oh, man.
The first Boiler Room Brawl.
That's a really good one.
It's not though. It really isn't. They had so many
No, it's a
technical.
really good bad match.
Oh, I know. I love it. It's my favorite bad match of all time. And somebody will probably say that match is great. Like, is it though? It's like 10 minutes of brawling that was pre-recorded, and you can tell it's pre-recorded because both their outfits change. Also, they're covered in sweat, then they're completely dry. Mankind gets covered in hot coffee, but he's dry a second later. Or just the camera kept fucking up. If you try to watch it now, they actually cut the 45 seconds of dead air out of it, and it's confusing. It's great. It is the reason why we got the Firefly Funhouse match. It's the same reason we got the House of Horrors match, because people loved Boiler Room Brawl. It's amazing garbage wrestling.
You know what I'm going with, and it's kind of along the same lines, and it's really not good, but I love the hell out of it, is the empty arena halftime heat match.
Oh,
I will watch that all the time. I think it's
completely forgot about
right.
it.
It's bad, but I think it's hysterical.
I love that match because we get like 80s Vince. Oh, Mankind is dropping the pallet on the rock. Oh, it's unbelievable. Aren't you like the higher power right now? Why are you doing like 80s Vince? It's great.
Yeah, no. So my favorite we actually covered as our kind of test run episode.
I think I saw this coming. Yeah.
Sting versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan from Starrcade.
That is a bad match.
It was a
Oh.
bad
That's a
match,
bad match.
but God, is it a fun story? And it was fun to put together for like a bonus episode.
I mean, it's
So,
entertaining to watch. Just how bad it is.
It's
yeah.
just bad. Any bad matches that we're fans of over there?
I mean, you guys will have to help me because I'm not going to remember like the names or anything, but I know there was an Elimination Chamber match where like I think like half the Elimination Chambers didn't open, and like I think it was Dolph Ziggler's didn't open, and he was yelling.
my
He
God.
was yelling out he was yelling out spots to everyone. Nobody
Like,
knew what to do.
Yeah,
That cracked
he's like
me up.
calling the
Yeah.
match from the pod. Mark Henry's pod gets broken accidentally. Like, get out there. Like, I can't. Like, get out there. And so he goes out there, like, and he's like, arms up. What are we doing? And they just did a match for 5 minutes, and then Dolph finally comes out.
I completely forgotten about that.
Have you ever
I
seen
forgot
Spinal
about that
Tap?
too.
It's
Yes.
like when he's trying to get out the thing on Spinal Tap, and everybody's like, they go
Stuck
back
in
in
the
there, and his
pod.
finally opens.
Yeah, it comes out. Yay! Oh, we're done. Goes back in the pod, and then it closes, and he can't get in.
All right, thank you. All right.
Oh, I love Spinal Tap.
All right, thanks, Ben. Of course, Matt at Podcast Hitman would send us 4 questions.
He's not a bad guy.
Woo!
He's okay. All right. Quick hit question. What's
Here we
your food/drink of choice when watching wrestling?
Ooh.
We are usually eating dinner, and if it's a WWE pay-per-view, I'm usually trying to down some Fireball to get over it.
Yeah. That's actually true. Actually, I have a really good one for this one because back in the day when I was like, this is like the 2003 to 2006 era, my family would consistently get Mexican food on Saturdays. And so we would always have like, but we wouldn't actually go out to eat. We would get it like, we would go pick it up and eat it at home. And so we'd always have a ton of chips, like chips and salsa. So on Monday, by the time Monday rolled around, the chips were still there, but they were stale. So every single Monday when Raw came on, I would eat stale
Linda,
Mexican
I lived
chips.
with you for like a
No
year.
wonder you
and I
still
can't
eat
tell you how
them.
many times I had stale Mexican chips.
Stale Mexican chips are
Y'all
what
gross.
I eat.
That is
Y'all
when I watch
nasty.
wrestling.
eerily
Well,
specific.
Well, I have a similar story. When I was a kid, my dad coached every sport. So pretty much every Thursday and Friday he was coaching. So we would always go out to eat dinner. And we would go to this local Mexican place. Similar story. And we'd always have the leftovers. And I always would get the giant platter of nachos and would never eat. I'd eat like 5 of them and was full. So we go home. We recorded SmackDown. We watched SmackDown. This is like 99, 2000 when SmackDown was good. And me and my brother would watch it until we had to go to bed. And that was like the first week we watched was right after WrestleMania. It was like the SmackDown after Triple H lost the belt to Jericho and then got it back in the same show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Mexican.
go. It's a very easy answer for me. It's gonna be honey barbecue, boneless wings with
Yeah.
with the Dr Pepper. Like that's just the way it's gonna be,
With the
and
Dr.
I
Pepper.
have no regrets about it.
Well, one of our like after show rituals was to go to Wing Shop.
See, we gotta love it. I mean, you can't go wrong with the boneless wing. You just can't.
No, you can't.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
you got something?
No, I was just gonna say I feel like most of my wrestling watching has been with you guys, and so it was like whatever you guys could.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. What podcast do you listen to?
My favorite murder.
I'm
Nonstop.
actually gonna bounce off of that a
Apparently
little bit.
not.
Yeah, so it doesn't. I would like to say that.
Like my 30 podcast long.
Yes, read them off.
Jeez.
As far as like wrestling goes, I've been listening to a lot of Ben Now Whatever actually lately, and New Blood Rising has done
Blood- yeah, New Blood
some
Rising.
really cool Perfect 10 series. So check those out if you can. But also Sinisterhood, which is similar to My Favorite Murder, sort of 2 female comedians, true crime. It's really fun. But also, and this, don't judge me for this. It's called Unlocking Us with Brene Brown. and it's really psychology, and I love it a whole lot. And I don't care that I'm a head case. Paul?
So it's no secret because I've quoted them directly, or we've gotten shout outs by them. So the Attitude Era podcast, also SW Review. I listen to Cinema Swirl a lot. I listen to Tell 'em Steve Dave, and I also listen to some of them. I've listened to pretty much almost every podcast you guys have mentioned, so I don't want to piggyback off those. And also listen to How to Wrestling. So that's pretty much what my week looks like.
Hey, that's good.
Dustin, pick your top 5 because we'll be here all night otherwise.
Okay. Last match standing.
Heyo.
Welcome to Night Vale. It's all gonna be weird stuff. No Sleep podcast is one of the best podcasts ever.
Love No Sleep.
Darkest Night. That's hard to listen to, but it's really well written. And Sayer. There.
Yeah.
Nobody knows those. But
Go listen to them.
No, my
Shout
brother,
out
my brother,
now.
my brother, and me.
oh my God, Adventure Zone. My brother.
Okay, stop.
Yes.
Stop at 7.
Vindication.
Alrighty. I can't answer this. Let's see if y'all can. I'm sure y'all can. What would have happened if Alex Wright and Tripp switched career paths in 1996?
Paul?
Oh God, Das Wunderkind. Okay.
Whoosh! It goes over my head.
Yeah.
Okay, so they both had a match at Starrcade '94, and then like literally, I think 2 or 3 months later, Triple H goes to the WWF. So I think if Alex Wright goes instead of Triple H, well, a few things never happen. He never marries Stephanie. I don't think we get DX as we know it. I think we just get Shawn Michaels breaking his back and then retiring. I don't think Shawn Michaels comes back. Or maybe do the NWO, but doesn't come back. So I think we get Das Wunderkind, the exact same gimmick as the German techno kid, and they kind of ride that out in 95 until people realize that EDM wasn't popular in 95 in America. It was only popular in like Eastern Europe. It didn't come here until like the early 2000s. So I think he rides that out for about a year. Vince goes, we don't see anything in you. He gets cut, goes to ECW, and same thing, and just falls on the path of ECW.
See, and here I am thinking Alex Wright makes the jump, debuts as Xander Wrong, and buffs up and has a crazy runaway match with Roddy Piper at WrestleMania. And oh no, wait, that was Goldust, not Triple H. Who is it? Who is it that Triple H had the crazy match at WrestleMania with?
In 95?
No, I made it up. But no, Xander Wrong. We get Xander Wrong.
I have nothing to add. I think it's a great scenario either way. Whatever you
I was
guys
gonna say, like,
said
how do you
sounded
follow up what
awesome.
Paul said? Jesus,
Right,
He
I-
had this thing planned ahead of time.
He did.
This is what Paul thinks about late at night.
It is actually.
Who is your guilty pleasure wrestler top 5?
I feel like that question was geared right at me because everybody already knows, okay, Lex Luger. No, I don't feel guilty about liking Lex Luger. So my guilty pleasure top 5.
I don't think we need to do a top 5. That's going to take a little too long.
I think there's
Who's
5 of
your-
us
All
here,
right,
so
I got
who's your
one
guilty
each.
pleasure wrestler, Paul?
Orange Cassidy.
Is that guilty pleasure though? Because
No, not really.
like him a
everyone loves Orange
Okay,
Cassidy.
okay, fine. Joey Ryan.
I'm Joey Ryan's penis.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure wrestler. I feel like the way Dolph Ziggler's career has gone, that he could fall under that for
At this rate, yeah.
on and off. So I'm going to stick with that just as like a. But I won't say Dolph Ziggler. I'll say Kerwin White's caddy.
I'll take Dolph Ziggler then.
Nikki.
See, this one's really hard for me because I do tend to like a lot of people that a lot of folks don't like.
You contrarian.
I am, and I do it on purpose.
So
just 'cause
who
I
do
like to be
you
cool.
like
This
the
is why we hate
most
you.
that people hate the most?
I don't know.
Well, I think I already said what mine is.
Yeah.
Baron Corbin.
Well, like
You
speaking
can keep it.
If you want to talk about being
What a
a
forklift. How many people have actually done? That's probably a lot.
A few.
I
I would say you're asking about like being a contrarian. I remember like one of the only person in my section at WrestleMania 34 actually cheering on Roman.
You know who I'll say, because a lot of people give him a lot of shit, and you hear a lot of like dirt sheets like talk crap about him. And I've never met the guy, so I can't really speak to that. But who I respect in the ring as a performer is Teddy Hart. If you've never seen Teddy Hart in the ring, he's crazy, crazy good.
Oh God. No, I'm not going off on a Teddy Hart tangent. I'm not doing it. Okay, during the time where he did like a dozen 450s and threw up. He just kept doing them.
No, but that sounds awesome.
You couldn't hold that back. That was worth mentioning.
All right. Thanks or no thanks, Matt, for those questions. Cody on Facebook would like to know, who do you think is currently the most underrated wrestler?
Baron Corbin.
Currently the most underrated?
Most underrated. I don't even know if I have
That's a really good question, Cody. Which we appreciate, first of all. And you're looking at me as if I'm going to be the next one to answer it. Which I will. And hear me out. I'm not giving a lot of AEW answers because I purposely haven't watched a lot of it because of something that we're saving for down the line. So I'm going to go back to WWE here. And even though he's got all the tag team titles ever, but I feel like as a singles performer, he really could be great. And I'm going to go Big E.
Yeah.
That is crazy because I was totally going to go Xavier Woods.
Oh, don't get me started on Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods is extremely underutilized. And I know like right now he's injured or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, go back and watch Consequences Creed in TNA.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
This guy could go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say Cesaro.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
the winner.
permanent.
That's
Permanent,
the
isn't it?
winner.
If you have seen the shit he did in Ring of Honor and you look at him now, you're like, why aren't they using this guy? He's so good, and he's still got a lot of gas left in the tank.
Oh, yeah.
That's an interesting one. Underrated, Hope, do you have one?
There's a ghost in the house.
Our
Cool.
cats are destroying stuff right now. I wonder if they heard that. Like, that was loud.
I really thought that was thunder, and then I was like, wait, I drove in the sun to get here. No, I'll keep thinking of it, and we'll probably interrupt somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
good.
fair.
All right.
That's fair.
Cool. Thank you, Cody. Jen on Patreon would like to know, what has been your favorite part of creating the podcast?
Oh, that's a good one that everyone can answer, I think.
Getting closer with Spencer.
Oh, so sweet.
You too.
Well, I can honestly say I've made a new friend from the show. Honestly, the fan interaction, even the negative stuff, and I delete a lot of stuff on Twitter because I get a lot of negative shit on Twitter for the. Let's be honest, I do pick fights on the show sometimes. Even the
How's
negative.
anger management going, Paul?
Actually, it's going pretty well.
I think my favorite unused clip from the highlights episode is, I'm going to make a bold statement, and Paul and Landon will go, oh no.
That is good.
So you're saying listener interaction?
Yeah, just because when we first started this show, we didn't think anybody was going to listen, and just watching it grow every week. Because I think the first week we had, guys, like 50 people listen. Yay. And
Yeah, no, we do appreciate all 5 of you.
Right.
who listened to the show 100 times a piece. Yeah, I mean, we went from like 55 people, which was mostly our friends, to like 500 or something like that, I think is our average now. So like that was really cool to see happen because it's been a year, and just the interactions, both good and bad. It's a lot of fun. Because there's a point in time like, are we going to keep doing this? And like, no, people are listening to it and they're enjoying it, so we're going to keep going.
Yeah, there's really a plethora of answers that I could give here. Obviously, the friendships, and you're gonna get me all like Brene Brown and emotional, so I'm not gonna go there. But I'll say one, getting to meet people online and getting to meet people that have emailed us and stuff like that, kind of similar to what Paul was saying, has been really, really, really neat. But I'm also gonna say expanding our horizons in wrestling. Because I feel like, and we talked about it a little bit on the season 2 finale, about the number of promotions that we hit in the second season. That's something I'm really proud of, because I think that if you take 10 listeners to the show, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find one that's seen every match that we've covered so far.
Absolutely.
And so I really think that's been really, really great, not only for us to be able to learn about all these new wrestlers and learn about these great matches that we may not have seen before,
too.
but new promotions as well. And also hoping that the listeners are also expanding their horizons in that way, because I think, we all love wrestling, and I just think it's super cool and neat that we can share this experience with other people and kind of all like it for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I know I already went, but to kind of piggyback off what you just said, I remember some of the earliest criticism we got is that, are you guys going to do anything other than WWE? And we're like, well, we're trying to. And I remember I really took that to heart when somebody accused us, you're not doing anything internationally. And so I remember that's why I said, as soon as we did season 2, I'm like, I want stuff from Japan. I want stuff from, like, we've done like stuff from early 90s women's Japanese wrestling. I mean, when we started this, I didn't think we would do that. But that's one of my favorite matches to review.
What was
Right.
the promotion that Joey Ryan and
That was
came up with?
PWG.
Yeah, Pro
yeah,
Wrestling
yeah.
Guerrilla.
See, like, who would have heard of
California? Yeah.
I li-
And we got flack for doing that match, and I still say 2 fingers. That match is awesome.
Well, I just think that kind of to say kind of bounce back off what you were saying. We also want to do matches that you guys want to listen to.
Exactly,
And I think
yeah.
that's important because there's going to be a lot of listeners that want a lot of WWE matches because that's what we're familiar with, that's what they know, and that's great. But there's also going to be a section of listeners that don't want any WWE matches, and one of
Exactly.
them sitting at this table.
Well, I mean, we said early on that we want to do matches that are accessible. We got some
Right.
really good suggestions that are impossible to watch. And I remember like telling somebody, like, we would love to cover this, but we can't.
Yeah, like so there was, for example, there was one match that we saw at an NXT house show that we would have considered to be the greatest match we've ever seen. There's no way we could cover
No,
something like
it
that
wasn't
on this
recorded. I mean, and I can't just we don't want you to take our word for it that it was great. We want you
Go
to
out
be
and
able to
watch
watch
it yourself.
You can't.
show. So thank you for taking both of my answers.
Sorry.
But no, seriously though, my favorite part about this whole show is being the last match standing champion,
Oh, come.
which I am.
Boo.
By the way.
Okay. So
Oh,
I have
come
a quick question.
Landon, you have
so,
a 33.5% chance of coming
I will
across as an
vis-
asshole for saying that.
Well, okay. So
Never give me the odds.
okay. So as the oldest and first ever champion, so followed by
I was the first champion.
no,
You were not the first
No,
champion.
Spencer had the belt commissioned, and I won the first trivia challenge. So,
Fact. You can't argue with it.
Fight.
I will physically fight you for the belt right
so,
now.
so
This is
okay.
the greatest wrestling match ever.
Okay,
You
so
cannot flip this table.
okay, so if I had the belt first, Spencer got it second. So would you consider that sloppy second? So what comes after that?
Ooh.
Trashy
Do we
thirds.
want to know? Do we want to know?
I probably don't.
I didn't want to go there, but you
That
brought
was
it up,
pretty
and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make this personal.
All right, y'all.
Thirsty thirds.
Hope has something.
Y'all.
We're not
Noob.
cutting this, sorry.
Most underrated wrestler, R-Truth.
Okay,
I
yeah.
said what I said.
I like that a lot, actually. That's pretty good.
I mean, considering that he doesn't really do anything
Wait,
right
were we
now.
on most underrated wrestler?
but
no,
when
no.
he can,
She said she would come back, and that's good.
that's
Our
right.
truth.
I agree.
R-Truth,
If you saw what he was
definitely.
doing in early NWA TNA, like
He can still do it.
Yes, he can.
Yeah.
Who's the guy with no chin?
James Ellsworth.
Him.
oh no, is he still wrestling?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think he's in the
promotion.
Indies right
Let's
now.
let's none of us find out. All right, Joey from Patreon would like to know, before the podcast, what would you have considered your personal match, your personal favorite match, your personal match, match you
The
own,
one that I have
that you have personally,
possessively.
and has it changed at all through the process of the show?
So we did
Ooh.
touch on what our favorite matches were, but I guess if
So
taking
so
it
the
from
ones you
that-
said earlier.
Yeah. So has it changed?
No.
I'm gonna assume no, since you still said them earlier.
I mean, it hasn't changed, but it's definitely been challenged.
mhm.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. I think for me, if someone asks me what's my favorite match, I think I have a lot more to choose from in terms of
Yeah.
options now. Like I feel like I can't just say,
Triple H versus Shawn Michaels, which is my favorite now.
right, or I can't just say Shawn Michaels Undertaker. Now I have to think
Yeah.
like, oh man,
Well, okay, but this is the thing. So our favorite match will never be what is the number one match in the last match
No, it
standing
won't.
list. That's
Yeah.
not going to be the same thing.
I mean, it could be if you're lucky.
Well, it currently is for me. But
this guy,
I
know, right?
he's
think,
got the belt. He's got the number
I think
one.
the way I
match.
want to answer this is actually my favorite wrestler has changed
Mine too.
because of this.
And I think there's
Is it
one
Okada?
way to know who your favorite wrestler is. There's just one sound that comes to mind when I think of Landon's favorite wrestler.
I stole it.
I thought
Go ahead. Nope.
I thought, and here I thought
better
I
than I
spoiled
could do,
everything.
But my favorite sound that Lane ever made was.
Well, and here I thought I spoiled everything.
My favorite sound on the podcast he ever made, though, was.
No, I do love how you put that like out of context in the season 2.
Yeah,
loved it.
everybody thank Dustin right
Yeah.
now for putting. Oh, well, you can't hear them, but they're thanking you because that season 2 highlights episode is.
Oh, that was.
Hey, you know what my favorite part of the season 2 highlights episode was? Mick Foley singing "Big Time."
Yes!
It came back.
Put it in.
I was so excited about it.
I don't know. A
Oh,
lot of people
man.
may not have caught that because I did the production on that one, and I slid it in after the ending credits. So kudos to everyone who actually listens all the way through to the end because
Right.
that one was for you.
All the Marvel movie fans.
You should have learned by now. Alrighty, Dylan on Patreon.
Is this steamed ham champion?
It is the
Haggett?
steamed ham champ.
It is indeed. He would like to know the answer to a very, very important question.
Okay. I think we can handle this.
How big is Batista's dick?
I cannot handle this.
Hope, can you get Sarah?
Oh,
She's gonna hit me now.
Not on camera.
To quote X-Pac, oh, it's fucking gigantic, obviously. Also to quote X-Pac, how the fuck
never
would
kiss
I
and
know?
tell. So.
So here's the deal. Batista did a lot of roids.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Here's the thing. Roids.
Okay,
Teensy,
no.
teensy, teensy.
Roids does not shrink the penis, only shrinks the testicles.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I would go with a hard.
That is a
looks
weird
like a
look.
T-Rex.
I don't want to know what that looks like.
Well, as soon as you stop taking the steroids, the testicles get back to normal.
Yeah, I'd go with a hard 7.
7?
I'm
Hard
gonna
seven.
say.
Okay, what
and-
about a soft land?
I was gonna say, wait.
Is it a soft 7 too?
Dylan,
He's a shower.
I want to say thanks for that.
All right, guys, I got it. 9.5 inches flaccid.
How many world titles did Batista win? That's what I'm gonna say.
Like 8?
8.
Eight is great.
I think we're overestimating, if I'm being totally honest. But Dylan, that's a super important question, and we thank you for that one because that's what the people
The
are listening
world may
for.
never know.
Okay, a more relevant question. What is your favorite pay-per-view stage, and what is your favorite era of Raw and SmackDown? So, like the favorite stage, logo, theme song, match graphics. Does anybody actually
man.
remember the theme song?
I do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember all of them. For me, like 98, 2001, I think it was called Thorn in Your Eye, that one.
For you mean it's not To Be Loved by Papa Roach?
No.
No?
That was when I wasn't watching. Like when I came back to wrestling, it hit right before that went to what's the band? It's one of Jim Johnson's like top 5 favorite bands. I use them all the time.
I don't know. What is it?
I can't remember the name of the Nickelback.
Oh.
Like literally,
I forgot
literally,
that happened. Yeah.
I started watching wrestling literally like the last week of Papa Roach, and like the next week was the first week of Nickelback, and it was like Nickelback for like 4 years.
That's a sad time.
Like 2009 through like 2012, it was Nickelback. And you're right, that was the guest host era. I
The
stuck
guest
around
host
through
era.
the guest host era.
Hey, you know, Bob Barker.
I didn't stop watching during that time period. You know, I stopped watching during like fucking laptop era. And then Landon told me, you got to come back because it's gotten better. And then it did get better. And then it petered down again, and I kept watching. And now I don't watch it anymore.
So I think everyone's favorite might have to do a lot with when they started. I feel like people, you know, typically are emotionally tied to those things. So like for me, it's probably the Real Industrial set once they once they were on Spike, once they switched to Spike.
With the lightning bolts.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
The fist.
and the theme song that went along with that, which was great, and I don't remember
Across the Nation?
maybe.
Yeah, Across the Nation was the best
It was
song
incredible.
that Raw ever had.
It's my second favorite theme.
Yeah, it was really, really good. So I'm going to go with that. I love the SmackDown Fist, but I was thinking about pay-per-view sets too, and I think you might have to go. You know, like some of the Vengeance ones with the dice were kind of fun, and I like that.
I really liked the old Backlash with the swinging meat.
Yeah,
hooks.
those
I
are
really
really
liked
good.
it. That was
Those-
so
yeah.
cool.
I love the, what was it, Royal Rumble 2003 with the water screen.
Yes.
Oh wait,
I love that one.
I didn't love that one. Remember, I didn't love that one. But
Oh
we
my
we
God.
all agreed that we loved Royal Rumble 2000 with the taxi.
yes,
Right
above
Taxi's
the
badass.
ring.
I'll say Royal Rumble
Yeah.
2003. Isn't that Triple H versus Scott Steiner?
It is. It is right before Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit.
That match isn't that bad. I've gone back and watched it. I mean, it's not good, but it's not as bad as everybody says it is. I remember watching going, oh, this is entertaining.
It's not the worst match ever.
It's entertaining in how bad it is, but it's not that bad.
I really loved Rise Up by Drowning Pool
That
as
was
the
good.
SmackDown.
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 Yeah, we liked
opening
that a
theme.
lot. That was good.
They had that for a long time.
Yeah, it was SmackDown.
Like,
that was probably my favorite era of SmackDown.
That's like
when it had that.
05 to
Yeah.
like 2010.
I just makes me
It
think
wasn't that long, but it was a while.
It was
makes
a
me think
while.
of Undertaker driving Teddy Long in a limo. That's what that makes me think of.
It makes me think of Randy Orton. It makes me think of Randy Orton having Undertaker over the back of a limo or a car
driving it
and driving to the
backwards.
back
Into
of
the
stage.
stage. Yeah, that's good.
That
I
just
like
makes
a
me
lot.
think of Undertaker bursting out of the flaming coffin.
Ooh, that was good too. Was that before or after he rode in on the buggy?
It was after. It was
After? Okay, I couldn't remember.
Oh my god!
It was like
Okay. Are we done with questions from there? Because I actually have a question that I'd like to ask you guys.
Oh.
Shit.
Okay.
We actually
I'll
have two more questions, but I'll let you slide
Okay,
yours in.
yeah, sure. So, I'll ask it, and then I'll give you my answer. What's the worst bump you've ever seen? I think is that the word? Is that the correct word?
Yeah.
Okay.
like worst
think it
as
was-
in
I think
bad or
Lita,
worst
one
as
of
in
the-
like oh is he or she okay?
Yeah, like oh god, like I think one of the matches we reviewed, Lita took like a head first dive
Oh,
off,
yeah.
and she like looked like you know what I'm talking about?
She
That's
bent
a really
half
good
backwards.
word. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, she's dead. Yeah. All right.
That was a really. I like that question. First of all, that's
Okay.
a really good answer.
I've got two.
Okay.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say Mick Foley getting slammed through the cell roof because it wasn't supposed to happen. But of course, everyone's ooh that one. No,
That's like the coolest. one.
Taka Michinoku at the 2000 Royal Rumble.
Ooh.
He gets thrown over the top rope, spins over twice, and lands on his face.
Oh, I remember that.
Him and Funaki do like 4 run-ins. Well, no, Funaki does 4. Taka does 2.
because he doesn't have to.
He does like a backwards 450 after getting thrown out of the ring and lands on his
Man.
face, and he does not come back for about 4 months.
Yeah.
It is rough.
Ouchie.
So
That shit hurted.
I guess this is not a bump as far as like taking it because this one, I mean, it is and it's not. But I mean, Yoshitatsu taking the Styles Clash incorrectly is really hard to watch.
It's very hard to watch. I'm gonna say anything RVD ever took.
RVD
That'd be
taking
my
the
answer.
RKO.
Yeah.
Oh,
or any
God.
DDT ever. Yeah.
And you know, this is also not a bump, but it's something that happened that is hard to watch, and that is Christopher Nowinski in the middle of the Royal Rumble.
Oh
Is
yeah.
that the one who's his leg like?
Oh no, that's a good one though.
That's Sid.
That's but okay, no, I'm talking
That's
about
what?
Christopher
That's
Nowinski.
similar to the bleeder sound. Paul, what does a bleeder sound like?
Oozing blood.
I don't remember what I was talking about when I was doing that. Sound like what match was that from? I don't remember that.
Oozing blood. But no, Christopher Nowinski was laying down in the middle of the Royal Rumble, and I think someone was trying to do a drop kick over him or across from him, or they were
did
trying to
not.
do an elbow drop and they missed, and they just their pelvis
Landed on his
or
head.
their hips landed on his nose and broke his nose.
You know, I was thinking Survivor Series 2002, Rob Van Dam hits a frog splash off the top of the chamber on Triple H, and his knee lands on Triple H's throat. Oh. Yeah. And Triple H finishes the match.
Is
And,
it-
and it's early on.
Was Rob Van Dam a shitty wrestler?
No.
No.
Not at
Oh,
all.
okay.
No.
It sounds like he doesn't
No.
know how to do moves and he doesn't know how to take
No,
moves.
he just-
No.
He
Okay.
takes them amazing.
Okay.
It just
No,
looks,
I mean,
it
the
looks
problem-
bad.
I'm just hearing like the
I
once
think
in a,
he.
like,
I think
blue
he
moon.
just misjudged the jump. It happens.
I think Triple H was
Like,
a little too close.
Like Brock Lesnar whiffing the
Right.
superstar
Shooting
press.
star.
He was too far away, and he just had a 28-minute match with Kurt fucking Angle.
yeah.
Yeah. Good question, Dustin.
Yeah, I liked it. Hope.
I think y'all didn't want to know my opinion, but I think
Oh, no.
What was it?
You're correct. Next.
Wow.
I think, I mean, again, short-term memory. I feel like there was a bump on AEW recently, like right at the edge of the ring. Do you remember? We saw it like in the last week or two.
Yeah, it was the in the Poison Rana on the apron.
Yeah, that one looked real rough. I'm gonna try not to get on my soapbox about this. But that bump that Kyrie took into the corner by Nia Jax.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah.
I hate to be that guy, but like, how
Somebody
many people
needs-
is she injured?
Yeah.
Somebody needs to stop giving Kyrie to Nia Jax.
Did anyone see? It was from NXT. I think it was NXT this week. Have you guys watched NXT this week?
I'm not-
We haven't watched NXT in like the last year.
Shotzi takes she falls out of the ring. She's doing a dive, I think, like almost like a trust fall backwards and falls almost on her neck. It's bad. It's real bad.
One that didn't look too bad, maybe when it happened, but afterwards was bad. I remember Sheamus hit his head on the other side of the barrier, and he's like stumbling through the crowd, like he's not even there. I remember that was just hard to watch him like not know where he was. You know.
Okay, y'all.
Well, now you got me want to talk about, like, I think WrestleMania 27 when The Miz slipped on the barricade and landed on his head on the concrete, and then he has to finish the match, and he's just...
Y'all.
Oh, Hope
Y'all.
got one.
I know she put.
Cesaro's teeth.
Oh.
I win.
I win. I don't know the reference.
Oh, he
We'll
had...
have- we'll have to show you.
Cesaro ended up. I don't even remember who he was against, but he ended up in the corner and like shoved his teeth up his face.
Yeah, like his two front
Like
teeth.
he came back and he opened his mouth and there was just nothing.
It looked like he had his teeth knocked out. They were knocked up into his gums, and
Yeah.
he had to like wear a mouth guard for like
That's why
2
he's still. That's why
years.
he's.
Yeah, that
No,
might
he
be
still
it.
wears his mouth.
Well, I know
guard.
he had to wear it, but I think he just keeps wearing it because he doesn't want to repeat of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be
Okay.
the winner.
Yeah, we saw it live. We're like,
Yeah.
we thought he like knocked his teeth out. Like, oh no,
Nope.
they're there.
Nope,
and they
they're
showed
there.
pictures. His
He
like
still has
gums
them.
are swollen.
Alrighty, last set of questions. Last 2 questions from Dalton on Twitter at aloster101. I'm just gonna say it like that.
Perfect.
What is your favorite wrestling video game?
SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. That's all I have to say.
SmackDown, shut your mouth.
SmackDown 2, know your role.
I don't play
So
any
all
of
of them
them.
are the PlayStation
2K20.
2 SmackDown.
What was
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
No,
two.
I'm joking.
2K20? You got 2K20?
2K20.
Well, SmackDown 2 is the first one I played, and I still have a copy of that. It still works.
Oh, it's so good.
I love the music. The menu music from SmackDown 2 is the only constant nostalgic goosebumps feeling that I've gotten repeatedly for 20 years.
So I love Shut Your Mouth because I had a backyard fed when I was in high school and middle school with just my friends. And we would create ourselves. And then you can actually go into the roster and pull out all of the WWF wrestlers and put in your creator wrestler superstars. And so all of the storylines and everything were with your creator wrestler people. So it was like my Fed had a video game.
That's really neat.
It's
That's
pretty
really
awesome.
neat, Yeah.
That's really special. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. I like that a lot. That's a great question.
Alrighty, and the last question is: what are your dream matches that never happened? Not like fantasy, as in like splitting eras, like Reigns versus Sammartino, but more like Rock versus Michaels.
That is my dream match that never happened.
Rock Michaels.
Rock
Rock
is Shawn
Michaels.
Michaels.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah.
no reason why that match shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, the Rock. Shawn broke his back.
pretty good reason.
There's no reason.
And when he
but then we
came
got-
back
we
to the
also
company,
got
the Rock
greatest
had already
wrestling match
left.
of all time after he broke his back.
See?
Right?
Well,
He
no,
said
no, well,
versus
thing
Triple
is-
H, Shawn Michaels, SummerSlam.
When Shawn Michaels
not
come
wrong.
back, his first match back was at SummerSlam. That was the Rock's like last match for like a year.
Yeah.
And then he had his last match and then left.
because he got scared because Shawn was back.
See?
No, he wanted to go to Hollywood and make more money.
I mean, I think he gave a really good answer in Rock Michaels. It's really hard to think of one that I think is on that level. If my answer, the weird thing is my answer was going to be Jericho, Mike Tyson, but apparently, who knows?
Actually,
see it
that
no.
we might see that.
You know what?
Well, he
Nah.
already got punched.
Change my answer. Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero.
Oh.
Never happened.
Really?
Did it really never
Never happened. It was supposed to, but never happened.
Wow.
That would have been good.
Can we just do a spin-off podcast like Last Shawn Standing or something where it's just like
Look,
every Shawn
Shawn,
Michaels match? Right?
say what you will if you like him or not. Shawn is probably going to be the MVP of our list. Not because we are like infatuated with him, just because
He puts out a lot of great
like there's a reason why he's considered the greatest that ever lived, because he's had some of the best matches of all time. You can say whatever you want to me on Twitter, Facebook, I don't care. You're not going to change my opinion. You're also not going to change the rest of the wrestling community's opinion. You can hate him as a person, but holy shit, show me a bad Shawn
Justin's
Michaels match
dying.
with a good opponent.
Everybody's
I don't mean the
dying,
jobber.
but Dustin's
Show
next
me
to
a
me,
bad
so
Shawn
Dustin's
Michaels
dying.
match with a good opponent.
I can't argue.
I have been on a big Eddie Guerrero kick, just in general, just
Yeah.
as a thought. I mean, and it's almost like I go through phases because there's never a bad time to watch an Eddie match, but just
There isn't.
here lately, it's just been really good.
I would say
Undertaker Eugene.
dream match that never happened for me would be Mr. America versus Hulk Hogan.
We never got to see it.
Why do we never get to see that
I don't
match?
understand.
I don't know.
Who was Mr. America? Was it?
We'll never know.
Was it Mr.
Is it like
Fuji?
Steve
We'll
Rogers'
never
like
know.
cousin or something?
All I know is he was really great at taking lie detector tests. That's what I know.
Wait, was it
really good.
Ed
I would
Wilson?
really love to see Lita take on anyone from today's generation. Lita and Alexa Bliss.
That would be fun.
I would love to see.
That would be fun. What about Lita and Io?
Oh my God, Lita Io would be the match of the century.
Yeah, this sounds good.
Yeah.
I want Asuka and Hikaru Ashida to have a match.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would be really
phenomenal.
good. That's
they
a good
probably
one.
have.
I was gonna say I would imagine in Japan they've probably already had.
I want to see that match, and specifically like Double Nothing Tifa Hikaru Shida. I want.
Yes.
I mean, I was like, I had finished Final Fantasy VII that morning, so she comes out wearing the Tifa outfit. I'm like, okay, she wasn't my favorite wrestler, but she is now.
No, you know what? You know what match I really, really would love to see? Hakuto versus Okada.
Hey now.
I would watch Hakuto versus Okada.
That would be intense.
Hope, did you have one?
No, I don't think so. Partially just because I don't want to say something that's already happened.
Yeah.
And then we're sitting here all day because you're just like, nope, that happened. Nope,
No.
that happened.
Shot in
Nope,
the
that
dark.
also happened. So
Go for broke.
Okay. Do you guys have any other questions? Did you have anything that you wanted to add or ask?
I have a question.
I have an. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I have one. If you were going to be doing another podcast, without me, and without
Which one would
us, what would you do?
I'll probably just do a radio show.
Yeah, what kind of radio show?
I don't
80s?
know. No,
You're looking very 80s today. I just gotta say.
Well, I mean, I wanted to.
You look like a wrestler shooting a promo, dude.
I'm going.
Like when you like pop
On
off about
theme.
something.
I was
can
going for.
imagine you-
I was going for Macho Man. So
Well, I think you're very macho.
thank
man.
you.
I think if no one's ever told me that, I think that if I was doing another podcast outside of this, it would either be on. And listen, I'm gonna sound like the lamest human being after this, and I really don't care. It would golf maybe or game shows, and specifically game shows. Break them down, different ones.
Here's the issue.
episodes
Here's
of
the
them.
issue. I asked one without me, and if you were to do a game show podcast, I would make it my life's goal to be on that podcast. So that doesn't count.
Actually, I had an idea a couple of years ago. I wanted to do like a creepypasta show, but I wanted to make them into radio plays.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to do like 45 minutes
You just
radio
took
plays.
Dustin's.
Yeah. I had that idea a couple of years ago.
No, I
'cause
have another idea that Landon and I talked about.
I remember the things the very first time I read like the Russian sleep experiment. I'm like, why has this not been turned into like a movie? I mean, you'd have to like rewrite the story because it doesn't make sense. Because like people die and come back, it doesn't make sense. You'd have to rewrite it and restructure it. But I think if you took some of those articles, because most of them are like 10 pages long, you could easily do like a narrative and condense it down to like 45 minutes, under an hour. You could do under an hour like every week. Or maybe 2 weeks. Because you gotta get like actors to record it. That was an idea I had a couple of years ago. But
Do it.
Yours was better, so we're doing that one now.
Landon?
My own question?
Yeah.
No, actually, so one of my favorite I'm a board game freak, so I would do board game podcasts. But I had an idea to do like just play a board game. It could be like an adventure board game, like Betrayal at the House on a Hill. And every time you play that game, you play out a story. And so I've actually done this a couple of times, is record the people playing and record what they do, and then create a radio drama based on the actions that take place in the game. That's what I would do.
I like that.
That's what I may do eventually.
That's a good
Don't steal it.
idea. I think I have a question since nobody actually asked us this.
Oh, wait, I have the answer. I want to do it.
Oh, okay.
Dustin, we're ready.
What you got?
This is one Landon and I talked about before. I think it would be really cool to have like musicians come on or like artists and talk to them about their music, and then a certain song maybe that they have, and then play it for the listeners to hear and like link their way to listen to the artist to get more people exposed. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, we have talked about that. One of the things that people who are listening may not know is Dustin and I play music together. Go 2 for nothing. Go check it out.
Cheap plug.
Cheap plug. Hope, what podcast would you do if not this one?
I have no idea. I feel like in the past, I feel like there was one day where I came up with an idea, but honestly, I don't remember right now.
Probably books.
Womp
She reads
womp,
like
something
5
about
books
bullet
a day.
journaling. Bujo.
Oh yeah, Hope actually has a ton of Instagram accounts that you can go follow her doing.
Do you have a ton? I have like 5 now.
Yeah, talk about your Instagram accounts.
Oh no.
Yeah, bullet journaling.
It's what the people want.
It's what the people want. The people really want to hear.
Hell,
about
if we're gonna do Instagrams, I'm on like my third account now. The first 2 I deleted like an idiot because I can't get those pictures back. It started off as like a workout journal, but due to quarantine, I couldn't really do that. So lately, it's
show off those guns. People are watching now.
I haven't worked out in like 3 months. So lately, it's just been pictures of my pets. So like my dogs and my cats. So that's about it.
That's really good. You said you had a question?
Yeah, I did have a question.
And then Dustin.
So nobody. I'm surprised we didn't get asked this question, but what's your favorite fantasy booking idea?
So like similar to that last question, but like not time is not a factor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, time is a factor, but I mean, like, I'm not saying, oh, we're gonna book like Hulk Hogan in 2020. I mean, yeah, you could do that, but I mean, like, just tonight,
in general.
something you think that would have been a great idea that didn't happen that could have happened.
Yeah, I feel like that's what the last question was, though, right?
No, the last question was, what's your favorite match that never happened?
You know what I thought about recently that I think would have been interesting to see how it played out in the 90s? What if Broken Matt Hardy was in the 90s side by side with The Undertaker? Like, not, you know what I mean? Like, maybe how do those characters play out? Because 2020 Broken Matt Hardy works because it's him. But throw it back, 30 years in an era where you can do gimmicks like that more. And I just think it's interesting.
I'm just thinking like Broken Matt Hardy at like 19 years old in 97 with like The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Like that would be really interesting.
Yeah, no, fantasy booking for me right now would be the Big E heel turn. I want to see the Big E heel turn. I want to see Big E have a singles run. I want to see him with that belt for like 3 years.
Maybe not 3 years, but I definitely year-long run, top heel, nobody can beat him, build a new star. We talked about this.
Please. Yeah, that's mine.
I'm trying to remember if we put this on the episode. I remember talking about
It
you.
is, and
good.
I still believe that's mine.
Okay, my fantasy booking, it almost happened. The higher power was revealed to be Jake the Snake. Almost happened.
I actually have one.
Ooh.
Nacho Libre versus Bonesaw from Spider-Man. You're going nowhere. That would be the greatest match
That
ever.
would have
That
been very
I would
interesting.
watch in the cage from Spider-Man.
You don't even like Jack Black.
That's great.
No.
That
I don't.
I love Jack Black. He's a
School
brilliant
of
musician.
Rock's a good film.
Yes, it is. It's a great film,
School of Rock's-
and it's
School of
now
Rock's a great
announced
film.
announced probably play.
It is.
I think I have one that could probably answer both questions now I think about it. I still really want The Undertaker to pass off his Undertakerness to Aleister Black.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm not saying that I want The Undertaker to have any more matches because bless his heart, just let him live his life.
I don't
in
know.
Texas.
After watching Last Ride, I'm like, oh, the match we got at 34 was supposed to be like 20 minutes competitive, and Vince was afraid that it wouldn't work. But after watching him train, I'm like, he could have gone.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
He
yeah,
could have
but
gone.
he needs a rest. But I still wish
In
that,
peace.
even though
Well, I mean, he's even said that.
I don't want him to
we
die.
got we got the
Careful.
boneyard because of COVID, but they're talking about possibly having him and AJ have like an actual match. And he said, if that match is good, I'm retiring. If that match is bad, I'm probably going to try it one more time. He's going through the Mick Foley thing right now where this is my last match. Nah, it wasn't good. I want to do another one. And then he just keeps going. Granted, he's 55. Mick was 34 when he retired.
That's a good point.
That's what I do with like M&M's. You know, this is the last one.
well,
It tastes
Oh my
right.
God, he did not just do that.
I guess if you haven't watched Last Ride, it's very fascinating.
Yeah,
also,
Last Ride is great.
we see an unmasked Kane in like 97, which proves that Glenn Jacobs has always been Kane. That conspiracy theory has been around since I was a kid. Fuck you, you're wrong. Glenn Jacobs is and always has
Oh,
been Kane.
remember your anger management.
Kane is in my top 10.
Frick you.
I take Kane very seriously. He is the mayor of Knox County.
He is.
I
Aleister
thought
Black
he was from
Undertaker. I
Parts
like that a whole
Unknown.
lot.
That's a good one.
That's
a
good.
good one. Well,
Dustin, did you have a last question?
Do we want to do one more question? Or are we done?
Yeah, I
Go
think
ahead.
you
If you
had
have
one.
Okay.
You had one.
No. Okay, I don't. Maybe this doesn't exist, but I think it would be really interesting to know what is your favorite redeemed wrestler. Was there ever a wrestler that had a really bad rocky start that actually turned out to be a really good wrestler that was enjoying to watch?
William Regal.
Well, I feel like
that's a good
that's
one.
kind of what Drew McIntyre is doing because Drew McIntyre was
Hey,
the
good
golden
answer.
child, and then everything kind of got fucked up, and
Yeah.
then Vince kicked him out, and he went away, and now
I
he's
s-
back having his golden years. So
I
I feel like
still-
Drew's kind of like that.
I still love the story that Mick Foley said about that when he got fired. And Mick was like, keep that anger, go somewhere else, use that, prove to them that you are as good as you say you are, and they will bring you back. And they did. He went somewhere else, proved that he was as good as he is, and look now, WWE champion.
I think that's a great question because we love a redemption story. You know, even when it's fabricated. You know, like we love Daniel Bryan climbing the mountaintop. We love Kofi Kingston climbing the mountaintop. Right? These are things that
Are
as
100% true and actually happened completely.
right. But there, you know, I think people love stories and love to root for people. So when you have real life situations like that, like a Drew McIntyre, I think that makes them infinitely more likable and someone that you'd want to cheer for. So I like that question a whole lot.
Like
Like-
reverse Baron Corbin.
Like when I said William Regal, I'm pretty sure people are like, what are you talking about? I said, dude, William Regal like had serious drug and alcohol problems in the late 90s. And then he like literally went through treatment for like a year and he came back. And then he had this career renaissance. Even though he never really reached the heights he should have, he had that career renaissance. And
yeah,
like
the story that really sticks out in my mind that's sort of the same way is Eddie Guerrero's
Yeah.
path. He really struggled there in the early 2000s, and he was able to kind of build his mind back up and get in a really good place mentally and spiritually and physically, and make it all the way to the top of the mountain.
he did. And everyone said he'd never get there, and he did. And that can never be taken away from him.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I've got two kind of, and you just made me think about it a little bit. Is Shawn Michaels? You know, he was a different man the second
Yeah.
time around, and I think that's interesting to note. And I don't want to like keep bringing him up, but it relates to what you said. The other one is I'm going to say World of Sport announcer Kent Bradley. I feel like he had a rough.
Ian Bradley, you mean?
I was
Ian-
going to
Ian
say, wait a
Bradley?
second, is he related to
Kent,
Ian Bradley?
Okay, Ian Bradley was the name we made up for him. What was it? His name was Kent Walton.
Kent Walton, yeah.
Kent Walton, that's what it was.
So first you forget what the number one match is.
I mixed his fake name up with his real name. How terrible is that?
Well,
God bless
I
Ian
I
Bradley.
made sure that made it into the fucking highlights.
Anyway,
this is getting in there.
I'm sure he was a horrible person, and he came back to be a great world sport announcer. So thanks so much, Kent Walton, which was his name. Yeah, there you go. Guys, thanks so much for all your questions. We really appreciated it. Hope, thanks so much for being the Quizmaster as always. And Dustin, thanks so much for all the work you do. We appreciate that.
And thanks to Lex Luger for being awesome.
We are excited for season 3 coming right around the corner. Any matches that you have for us, let us know. We'll be happy to look through them. And it's as we start kind of building up what season 3 is going to look like. But until season 3, I'm Spencer.
I'm Paul.
I'm Landon.
I'm Hope.
I'm Dustin.
And this is Last Match Standing.